Just got out of the shower because I had to clean the filth of the Chicago Bears organization off of me. Today, I am making my early decision on Bears head coaches who I think that they should get, what the franchise needs to do. This is red alert territory that we're in now because you got generations of losing going on. With the Dallas Cowboys, they were the team of the 90s, the Bears were the team of the 80s. These are huge franchises. With that being said, they are super popular today. But I gotta imagine over time, when the Bears was in that Super Bowl against the Colts, they were obviously mostly Bears fans there. That was how many years ago? Almost 20? Jesus. What is the future of the fan base? Are they being like grandfathered in, like, hey kid, I'm a Bears fan, you're a Bears fan, So let's talk coaches. Now, I'm not in the interview process. There's a lot of questions. I don't have a definite, like, I just did the interviews, here's my questions, and you're my pick. Okay, I just want you to know that. Bill Belichick would have been my pick. Why? Oh, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. I listen to Jeff Schlegel, or Schleg Daddy, Schlegel. I'm not sure how to say his last name. He's brilliant. He was against the Bill Belichick hire. He thinks we need to go offense, and he is absolutely right. But the reason why I would have chose Bill Belichick is Caleb is great on in interviews, and he admires Tom Brady, and I feel like there would have been a huge respect angle with Bill Belichick, and Bill Belichick has his entire staff, and Bill is wanting. I'm assuming he's wanting to leave something for his son, and then I keep hearing about this Bible that Bill wrote. Bible. That had to do with football, and he would give that to the organization and help develop the organization. I don't think Bill should have been GM. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that you don't listen to him and so forth, but he had Josh McDaniels. Not sure what I feel about Matt Patricia, but Bill Belichick's there, so Matt Patricia on his own, nope. But Josh McDaniel, think of all of the quarterbacks that came in behind Tom Brady and actually played well. I mean, I remember Jacoby Brissett. I mean, Cam Newton, they squeezed everything they could out of him. Brian Hoyer. I mean, there was a few that came in and played really well, and he got a 4,000-yard season out of Mac Jones. I had Mac Jones personally rated over Fields. I don't watch college. It was simply just watching the highlights. I just felt like if we were going to be like a run pass option team, Mac Jones was the perfect fit for what we needed. Justin Fields, I pounded the table for Greg Roman. It is what it is. I kind of felt like Greg Roman had a very unique running attack, and I think that that would have served well in Chicago. People probably would have been complaining, just like Lamar Jackson. Probably would have gave Fields some time to develop because of the heavy run attack. I'm not a huge Fields fan. I kind of think that he's the Cordell Stewart, Taysom Hill of the NFL. But you might see somebody like Justin Fields when they turn 29, 30 years old. You might see them finally hit that stride as a starting quarterback where things are starting to really work well for them, kind of like what you're saying with Jared Goff. I feel Jared Goff has made head coaches. He's not Tom Brady or anything, but he plays well enough that he can make your coach look really smart and good, and proof is in the pudding. Let's see what Sean McVay could do. Well, they had Baker Mayfield, but let's see what Sean McVay could do if he drafted somebody. And then you got somebody like Kyle Shanahan that had a Brock Purdy. But anyway, Josh McDaniels would have been with Bill Belichick, and I don't see Josh McDaniels getting another coaching job for a long time. So there's stability in your offensive coordinator there. So I definitely would have chose Bill Belichick because it's not just the head coach that we need, guys. It's a guy that's got to have a certain attitude for the fan base. Bears are very hard nosed, tough. The fans are hard nosed, tough people, and I feel like that's what they respond to. It's what they see all the time with Mike Ditka, Buddy Ryan, and so forth. And I think the McCaskies keep wanting to hire like vanilla people. And then there was a player the other day that said he played in Chicago, and he said, "Man, it's like." They don't care. You drop something, nobody says anything to you, and it's a culture thing. And you got people just kind of think about the Nagy era, think about this, and then think about Ted Phillips. Our culture is the envy of the league. No, because players can go there, make a lot of money, and do piss poor, and they're not held accountable. That is what they're calling the envy of the league as far as culture. So Bill Belichick would have been my pick, but he's gone. Everybody else, your Vrabels, Ben Johnson, um, my actual pick now that Bill Belichick's off the board is another guy. But here's my issue with uh, Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel. Who's your supporting cast? Who are you bringing in? Now Ben Johnson checks off the list of the offensive guy. You're like, whew, you're watching them. You're watching Detroit, and you're just like, wow. You know, I am a Bears fan, but I am loving watching the Lions because this is how I want to see my Bears play. I want that rushing attack. I want that hard nose. I want that hard ass coach on the side. I want passion. I want anger. I want violence. Hell, the team is so violent, everybody's getting hurt. Um, and they deserve a Super Bowl, and I really hope they get that this year because the Bears being in that division, I want the Super Bowl to be in that division as long as Green Bay don't get it because it would also prove that just how difficult our division is. Um, so Mike Vrabel, I live in Tennessee. I'm a Bears fan that lives in Tennessee. Vrabel is a smart coach. Vrabel also had some good offensive coordinators. Now that here, what I know is the GM really screwed him by getting rid of a lot of his players. AJ Brown was pretty much the death knell to that team. But I think you got to keep in mind of what they were able to do with Ryan Tannehill. So Vrabel is very interesting. I think it would be kind of interesting to see Vrabel and against Dan Campbell on the sidelines, but Dan Campbell is an offensive guy, so don't get that mixed up. Tight end is a super hard position, okay? And Dan Campbell has that hard nosed toughness. So Ben Johnson, who are you going to get? And for the love of God, whoever comes in, please fire our offensive line coach. I did not realize he had been with us as long as he has been, but he sucks. You need to go and get an offensive line coach. I don't know from where, but you need a new voice in there. Um, I was against my next pick for years because the I never saw the product come together. And I even thought the Super Bowl he won was kind of fluky, but I'm not lying. I'm buying into the hype of everything that I'm seeing online and on YouTube and his interviews and his history and and his charisma. His charisma fits Chicago. I kind of feel like he's going to go back to the Raiders. Call me crazy, but they gave him that big ass contract. A lot of that stuff happened, but John Gruden um, is my pick for the Chicago Bears. The guy's passionate. He's 61, so there's a lot of fuel in the tank. He's got charisma. He's got that. He's going to get into somebody's ass on the sidelines. He's smart, and I also feel like a guy like that, failure really comes a long way. And I think he's done a great job building his personality back. So if Ben Johnson has the team or the staff, fine, that's great. If Vrabel has the staff, fine, that's great. I feel like it would be great if Ben Johnson maybe reached out to a Leslie Frazier that knows some of the players on our team. Um, Jim Schwartz is a defensive coach that I've always liked. Um, as far as offensive coordinators, who would Vrabel get? Maybe he knows somebody in college um, that he could grab. I'm hearing names like Eric Bieniemy, and there's a bunch of names that kind of on paper is like, man, this makes sense. Like the guy from the Bills, and this makes sense too. But I'm just going to stick with the three names. Okay, Belichick's gone. Can't have that, unfortunately. With his team around him. So John Gruden would be my pick. And maybe John Gruden calls a Leslie Frazier. The other thing I would do if I was a Bears organization, I'd probably pay him $100,000 and be like, listen, we're paying you because we want you to watch the tape. We want you to come in and give forms of pet talks. We want also to have you in a room and listen to what you say about the organization. You have no power, but we need your mind. We need your heart. We need your energy. We need your passion. And that is Olin Kreutz. Olin is incredible. I know when I used to watch TTNL, He was on there, and he took up for his guys Sam Mustafa and stuff like that. And I didn't agree with that. I kind of feel like maybe these guys were decent, and maybe what's the guy's name? Chris Morgan, the O line coach, which has been there for years apparently. Like Jesus Christ, what is he doing to get his job? I've seen the Patriots win a Super Bowl with a crappy O line, a bunch of injuries. They're like swapping people in and out almost every other play. I've seen Green Bay, the year that Green Bay won the Super Bowl, their O line was decimated. People don't realize that. There is ways to overcome this, but I'm just real frustrated in the and I kind of can see us maybe going and grabbing an Eric Bieniemy or what I feel they'll probably do because the agents, Brian Flores will probably be our head coach. He's in that number 4 or 5 tier for me because he is a defensive coach. I did not like how he handled Tua. He admits it, and that's cool, man. That means a lot to really come out and admit it. But who's your staff? Who's your offensive coordinator? What can you what? Those are the questions I would have. So without an interview, without the in-depth stuff, John Gruden, number 2 for me would be Ben Johnson. Number 3, and this is without interview, would be Mike Vrabel. This is without interviewing and all that. So that's my thoughts on Chicago Bears. It could change over the summer, but man, I'm really drinking that John Gruden Kool-Aid. And if you haven't been watching him on TikTok, this guy has playbooks of Joe Montana's, and his history is just so vast. And I love how Janikowski was drunk in a game, and he made him kick a 58-yard field goal. I just think Chicago needs a kick in the ass. Right? Right?